Welcome to Steam and Soul, the podcast where heat meets heart. Stories from saunas around the world, from silent sweat to loud laughers. This is where people connect, relax, and open up. Take a breath and let's dive in. So, welcome everyone to a new episode of Steam and Soul. In this episode, I invited Yves Hersener from Switzerland, and he and me, we have a special connection or special memory now, because both of us were competing in the team competition in the Swiss Aufguss playoffs in Saitama 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I was stepping in for his colleague because he could not compete in the playoffs. They made the third place in the Swiss competition in May or June this year. And then they had the chance to go to Saitama. And we were talking first of all about Yves' journey, how he started with sauna and how we met. And then we were talking about his single competition because he was also competing in the single competition in Switzerland. And then we were talking about our the experience that we made together at Saitama, from preparing to doing the Aufguss. And yeah, we are sharing our thoughts, our experience. And I also want to take the chance to say thank you to everyone that was in the cabin, everyone that was supporting us before and after the Aufguss and the show. So especially our two helpers, Dennis Schweitzer and René Dutz from the Netherlands. So thanks so much, guys, that you came to Saitama to supporting us there. And also a special thanks to Aufguss Roots and Robert Heinevetter. Robert was teaching me sometimes until the night, 3 a.m., some move and tricks to get ready for the show. And also thanks for this amazing towels, the magic towels that you're creating that were helping a lot. So thanks to Robert and Aufguss Roots and all the others that were helping. This is Ashley, Lukas, Massimo from Italy. So thanks all you guys for supporting. And especially also the Aufguss VM in Martijn to give us the chance to do so. Yeah. And then I would say, let's slide in the new episode. But before, don't forget to get a follow link on your podcast platform that you don't forget any or don't miss any episode, any new one. And I would really appreciate if you also give us a good or nice rating. So share your feedback. It doesn't matter how it is. I'm curious about and can consider it for the future. And yeah, so I think now it's time to go into the new episode. I hope you will enjoy it. And now let's slide in to the new episode with Yves Hersener. Welcome to a new episode of Steam and Soul. And today we have a special guest. We have Yves Hersener from Switzerland. And Yves was my partner for my first competition Aufguss this year at the World Championship of Playoff. And I'm so proud and happy to have him here today. So welcome, Yves. Happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. It's a special place to be, I think. So yeah.
It is, and especially because we have now a special memory together. That makes it more special.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sharing an Aufguss is always something special, and doing an Aufguss even for clients or I would say guests is always something special to me, and you share a special bond with people you do Aufguss with, or you with your guests, and that's a really amazing part of sauna.
That's cool. But before we dive deep into these topics, let's talk about who are you, Yves? Let's introduce yourself a bit, please. What are you doing? What's your profession? And maybe you can also talk about how did you start with sauna when you was a kid, or why you are such a crazy guy like a lot of people and going with a towel in a cabin of 19 degrees and waving the air.
Yeah, for me it's a bit special, I think. Rather than a sauna master as a profession, I work in IT crisis management. Maybe I first have to say what IT crisis management is, because not a lot of people know. So basically, when data centers break down, catch fire, or networks go down, production sites go down of Swiss cheese or something, I don't know. and they stay down for IT reasons for a long time. I come in to do a picture and try to save the day, or at least try to appease management, so that life goes on and the business goes on. So that's something completely different than sauna. And I started sauna when I was a child. My parents took me to sauna, mostly my father took me to sauna in Constance sometimes. And first, as a child, you know how it is. It's always it's way too hot. What am I doing here? And what's this guy in front of me doing? That puts some water on the stones and then does something with a towel that brings even more heat. I don't want to. Leave me alone. Um, and over the years, it got to a point where I really enjoyed it. Took in the calm and was able to relax. But somehow I went a bit away of sauna when I was a teenager, and yeah, you know, teenagers are okay. There's a lot of old naked people. What the hell am I doing here? That's just how it is. And but when I started studying, I had friends that also liked sauna. So I was in the association of my studies, and uh, we as a whole, as board, liked sauna. So we sometimes went, and that also continued on after finishing with this board. And I'm still friends with, or one of my good friends was of the board, Franz. I think we get later to him, as he was the one I did my first team competition with in Switzerland. And yeah, we then continued on in this academic sauna um, room that we had, or that we still have, but we don't usually use anymore. But yeah, that we tried to do Aufguss there. There's really small cabins, so like for 20 people, if all squeezed in like crazy, like the big competitions, then you get 30 people in there. And sometimes people tried to do that, and it was really amazing to have such a small cabin with so many people. But on the other hand, you can't do anything if it's full. So you just stand there, and there's a small corridor going, and on the back of you, you have glass, hot glass, so you can't touch that. You can't do anything because just like 20 centimeters before you, people are sitting. So you try to wave, and that was really crazy. But unfortunately, the universities didn't like Aufguss, so they said, yeah, essential oils are really bad for the stones, for the sauna, and there could be allergies. And yeah, then they forbid doing Aufguss with essential oils. We yeah, we kind of stopped and kind of didn't stop. We just saw that, checked always if anything is bothering people, like does music bother people, does essential oils bother people, and if everyone was okay with it, and we especially asked, no one is going to run to the university to complain, right? And if everyone was okay with it, then we still did Aufguss like that from time to time, but not on a regular basis. So yeah, then we continued on, and before even that time, I think, uh, we also went to just sauna trips, weekends, Franz and I, and we checked out different saunas. So all over the place, like all over Switzerland. And one time we said, okay, let's do a whole weekend, 3 days. We both need to relax, get our minds off things. like of studies, of work, just of everything. And then Franz came to me and said like, "Hey, there's this sauna event in Basel," and yeah, I was like, hey, what is a sauna event? And he's like, I also have no clue. But instead of checking out saunas in the Black Forest, let's do that. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We never saw anything like that, so why not? And that was the first natural Aufguss Cup, um, which back then I think was a good event. Now yeah, the second one was very badly organized, and the third one I didn't even go to. So yeah, but the first one was really cool to look at, and there were also a lot of good people like that are still competing internationally, like Chad from Canada or Barbara from Czech, and it was very very impressive to see how they are using it, uh, how you can move in a sauna, and I think that was for me was the trigger to like, okay, I kind of also want to do this. I also want to be able to do this. Um, and it was for me it was a perfect time because I played badminton for a very long time at that point, and just had a back injury and was recovering, but I wasn't really able to play badminton on the same level again, and I knew that I will probably never will. So I was kind of looking for a new passion, and so something like with this event lit something in me, and I was like, okay, let's do this, and then I came to the courses of Aufguss routes. So I have to thank Robert. I all my course knowledge up until the special waving course that was of Lukas. So um, yeah, I'm really thankful to them to teach me and show me all the ropes and how you do all the movements and how you use your body to bring more air to people. And
What
yeah,
question? When did you start? How long is it ago now that you were at the Basel Natural Aufguss Cup and you decided to change the side from a guest to a sauna master himself or
I
yourself?
think that was about 2 years ago or something like that. So
Hmm.
I think the first course for me was in 2024, and the year before was the Natural Aufguss Cup. So
Okay.
not that long ago. And yeah, and then I did basically all the courses in 1 year, more or less. Just because, yeah, I think they gave you so much, not only from a waving side or from a how to do Aufguss, but also how to calm your mind down and how to better acknowledge your body and how you have to move with your body in a very special situation, because being in 90 degrees and doing something difficult for your body for like 15 minutes isn't that easy, and you really have to get your mind into a setting that allows you to do that, and also to enjoy it, as well as relax yourself while doing Aufguss. Because it shouldn't be like, as an Aufguss master, you shouldn't be stressed. Because if you're stressed, the guest is stressed. And that part of switching off is also something you have to learn over yeah, the days or weeks you do Aufgusses. So yeah,
I,
it's yeah.
And I think that was also the point where we meet at the waving basic course from Aufguss last year. I think it was in Switzerland. In what was the name of the term in the north? I forgot. Not Aqua Basile.
It's no,
Centis Park.
Centis Park.
In Centis Park we met with the course of Aufguss routes. That was really cool. So it's also connecting people. And now we're here and doing a
Yeah.
podcast together. So really, really cool.
Uh,
What was, maybe looking back at the beginning days when you started with the tile, what was for you your biggest challenge or the biggest burden to hit? Was it body movement, flexibility? Was it understanding? Or what was the biggest challenge for you personally at the beginning to start?
for me, it was to even start because it sounds stupid, but I'm that if I do something, I want to do it right. So just like, yeah, I see people doing the normal parachute, and I was like, yeah, but how do you do it? And what is involved? Because I can also take down and do this, but it just doesn't feel right. And then I really didn't try very much to do it on just until the courses because I said like, if I want to do it, I don't want to learn it wrong. Because I also train kids in badminton, and I know how hard it is if you have something in your muscle memory that is wrong to get it out. Because it was the same for me when I was a child and played badminton and then moved on to play in the club and everything. It was very hard to get some things out of your muscle memory because you always did it like that. And I didn't want that to happen with Aufguss because I said like, hey, I want to do it. I want to do it right. And if I start now without the course or anything like that, I will learn something wrong in my muscle memory and I will never get it out again. Or maybe like get it out in 5 years, and because I know how hard it is for me to get like these little movements out there. So that was the hardest part for me, just get over that mental stage and like really search for a course that would be able to help me get into it from the start and try to do it right. And I still have the mental blockade sometimes, and people try to teach me new tricks, and I don't immediately go into the towel and try it like others, but I first just like watch 50 times, and then I try to imagine how I do it in my mind before I ever pick up a towel because I'm just I know how fast it can go into muscle memory and how fast I can learn something completely wrong and get it afterwards a blockade from that wrong movement. So that's still the hardest part for me.
That's interesting. So that means you're cutting the movement, or like you want to do like take the parachute. So you're cutting it into pieces like a process, and then you try to do the movement without the towel, or only in your brain, and then you took the towel and do it, or is it like that you try to get the movement without the towel, but you move your body, or is it really only a mental learning thing at the beginning for you?
For me, it's yeah, it's kind of breaking it down like a process map, but only in the mental stage. Like, where do you open? Do you open like up here in front of your head? Is it over your head? Is it even more in front of your head? At what height is it? Is it above you? Is it just at your? Is it at eye level? So that's like the process that goes in my mind. Where do you do what in the stage of a parachute? And then I do the whole movement when I know every part, where to do what. I do the whole movement in my brain, in my mind. And only after that I pick up a towel. I don't do it just a movement without a towel, because then it also doesn't feel right to me, as the towel has some weight. And if you do it without the weight, then it also doesn't feel right. It's if you ever played tennis or badminton or something like that, you know that all the rackets have a different weight. And if you don't train with the racket you play with, you will completely mess up. And that's the same thing for me with a towel. You can imagine how your towel is weighted, and you can train in your mind like that. But picking up a towel that isn't yours or isn't the same weight as yours. So I do Aufguss with Aufguss roots towels, with the magic towels, and usually with the big ones. So if I pick up a small one or a completely different towel, be it from Rob Kaiser or whoever, then it doesn't feel right. It's just like this movement isn't the same anymore, because the weight is different, and you just then have to adjust to this different weight of your muscles and everything. And these little adjustments, for me, take time, because you have to adjust everything to be perfect again for you. It may still doesn't look perfect. It's not what I'm going about, but it does have to feel perfect for you. And to have those adjustments in your mind, that's the hard part for me.
Yeah, but it makes sense because you get used to it, so your body get adapted to the weight of the towel and everything. It's the same for me when we come later to this, when I have to start with the open one, with the big towel. That was a mess at the beginning, because for the body it feels completely wrong, and it was so different, especially the weight. Also, if you fold it, it's something like, what's going on here? It feels like the first time I have a towel in my hand. That's absolutely true. I think it maybe comes with experience. Maybe it make it a bit easier if there's more experience you maybe have. But I got your point. So where did you get this mental training? Is it from the badminton stuff, or did you get it from the courses, or where did you get this method? Because I think that's also not easy to do. As when I did my first courses, so Robert was teaching me this as well, to go it mentally. So do the Aufguss in your mental before you do it, that you also create a routine and don't have to decide in the cabin. Like I think he used the comparison of like a Formula One driver or like a ski driver. So they have their track and what they have to do in their mind, because they have not the time to decide with 300 kilometers per hour. Oh, I make now a break, or maybe now a bit more left or a bit less. So that was helping me a lot, to be honest. But where did you get this? Because I think this is like, for me, like a magic stick a bit, to be fair, to learn new things.
Yeah, for me it comes actually from martial arts. So when I was little, I think like with 5 or 6, I started with judo and trained until I think I was 14 or 15, before I focused then on badminton. But in this, all over these years, they always not only trained us physically but also mentally. So they always said, like, yeah, imagine it, like, because with martial arts, you have to be so fast in your movements and so precise in your movements that really you can't train it with your body immediately. You first have to have this mental flip, that you train in your mental stage and try to do all the things you have to do, and yeah, in your mind, because especially in the end, when I trained in judo for the high categories, then we had things like how do you defend against a knife and all those things. And then you also, at the end, you train with a real knife, just like still a dull one, but it's still a knife, and it could still theoretically hurt you, even if the cut would be really, like, it's a dull knife, it can't do very much. But still, it's like you have to first have this mentally down that you don't get this deer in the headlights moment of of damn, it's happening. What the hell do I do now? And to get this into muscle memory and everything, you first have to get it down in your mind and try to see how you react. And yeah, you for that you also have to get to know your own body. And if you really know how your body reacts and how fast your body can react to certain things, then you can start adapting and start trying to move in real life and not just in your mind. And for me, this all comes from that part of from that side, which later also helped me in badminton, and I think now also in Aufguss. So yeah, that's
It's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. So that's also maybe whoever wants to start with Aufguss or any other sport, I think that's a good method to help to learn something, especially to learn it right, as you said. Because that was also why I really do the course with Aufguss Roots too. After the playoffs I had this week, I had my second one, the special one. Maybe it would be better to have it before, but you never know. And this is helping a lot to get it right into. So I can absolutely agree to that. And yeah, really cool. And I think also you can see it now in your waving because you have a really good, clear waving. And I think that's really nice. But now I'm curious about, okay, you decided to wave. You were in Basel with France and you did it in your university. By the way, amazing that the university have a sauna. Also my university's never had sauna. So it's really cool to hear that they offer something.
the sad part is like they want to demolish the sauna and because they say it's not important and it costs just too much money. So maybe in a few
Okay.
years the university don't have a sauna anymore. So that would be very sad. But we tried to convince them to keep it, and they just said no, it's too expensive. So let's see what happens there.
Invite them to some events or something. Maybe they need a hint. Maybe they have to see something special like you when you swore in Basel. That
Yeah,
was a bit
maybe.
mind blowing. So yeah, but maybe sometimes it's helping. Some eye opener or yeah, I don't know. But yeah, good luck with that. But anyways, okay. So you did Aufguss sometimes with Franz and the other guy. I think there was a third friend you were with in the course. I forgot his name, but I think it was Franz, you, and some other guy. And I think he told me that he's doing 10 Aufgusses some days. So a crazy one. And but where get the switch to decide? Oh, I want to compete because you did all the courses in 1 year. So I think your development and growing was really fast. Where did you get the point to say, okay, I want to compete. I want to go to the challenge? Because if I'm right, you competed in single and team both in this year, first time, right? So
Yeah,
it's a lot of work, I could
yeah,
guess.
exactly. The thing is, I'm somehow a bit competitive. So at the point where I decided I want to do this and learned that there was a competition as well, because it was only like, okay, this is cool. I also want to do this and I want to know techniques and everything. But my mind was always already at that point. Okay, let's also compete. I also want to compete in these things, and back then I didn't know that there was a WM World Championship or that there was a Hurdle Cup or a freestyle, um, or all those different events and all those different styles. And I just knew, okay, I want to compete. I also want to do something like that, and that basically came immediately with also with this passion of, hey, I want to do this. Um, just because yeah, if you don't compete, then what's really the what's driving the passion? Just doing it for yourself. Yeah, I mean it's cool, but that's just not who I am. I'm always a bit competitive and want to try to see how I fair against others, and you can also see your growth like that. If you just say, yeah, let others compete, and you also don't know where you stand, and if what you think is a great technique or a great show is really a great show, because I mean, for you it is, and maybe one or two guests say it is, but those are usually the loudest guests. So 80% of the guests may be thinking like, that was so bad, I never want to see anything like that again. And two, three guests come to you and say like, that was so great, that was amazing. And then you think like, okay, for me it was amazing. For those that come to me, it was amazing, so it has to be amazing. But I know that it usually isn't like that. So there's a majority of people that are just silent, and uh, and to really know where you stand, and if you do something truly great or just do something mediocre, is for that part you kind of have to compete, and to know if you do something really great or just if it feels like that.
Okay, but why did you choose then the show competition first of all, and not maybe freestyle or herbal? Because I know this year you're also competing in the herbal.
Yes.
Maybe we can talk a few seconds or a few minutes about that later, because it's a bit a special situation, as I know, for you and for Switzerland as well. But why show, of course? Why you decided to single and show as a single and team in show, of course?
Uh, I ask myself that as well. What kind of competition do I want? And I think the first thing that came to mind was modern classic, but there aren't really any modern classic competitions for all of Switzerland. So then I thought to myself, okay, what's the next best thing that I can do? Because I know freestyle isn't that's so much power and so much techniques and everything, and I know that I'm just not there yet with the waving techniques of my own, and it's also a bit too much sometimes for me. If I watch freestyle, it's really cool to see, but I'm not sure if I can or want to put this much power into techniques and not bringing air to the guests. So for me, it's still somehow it's still normal Aufguss. You still want to move air, and if you just have those freestyle techniques everywhere, you don't usually bring air to the guests. So you just it looks fancy, but it doesn't. So then, yeah, I mean, show also looked really cool, and I thought, yeah, I mean, I really enjoy watching it, and maybe I also enjoy doing it. So I sat down with Franz, and it took some convincing, to be honest. But he then said, okay, let's do it. Let's do this, and we just need to have a good story, because with just random story, I don't want to compete, and I agreed with that. So yeah, we took like over a month to create the story, so that it felt right to us. And yeah, with my single, I took a bit less of time because yeah, you don't have to ping pong in between. You can just like imagine what you want to do and what feels right to you and what message you want to relay to people, to the guests. But yeah, that was something that kind of resonated with me as well, to give message with Naufgus. And I think that's also the great part about Herbal, it also gives you the room to give message. It's not just like, okay, then there's air and there's a peeling, but like the message of your Aufguss, what do you actually want to say with it? And that's the part I think that inspired me to do show and now then also the herbal.
Cool. Then maybe let's touch the herbal topic short, and then we come to your singer, because I'm curious, how did you start? How did you create? Maybe you can take our guests a bit more into some insights, and then we're coming to the team. That would be cool. So the Herbal Cup you wanted, or you applied to compete in Switzerland, and then what happened? Maybe you can share a bit what was the story behind.
Yeah, I for a very long time I wasn't sure if I want to compete or not in herbal. Just because I had some conflicting dates. The herbal would have been on the 11th and 12th of October, and on the 11th of October I'm giving a talk at the symposium at ETH. So I was a bit stressed out because maybe I have to do some things at the same time, and then I would have talked to the organizers to make it somehow happen. And then I decided, okay, let's do it. I registered for the Herbal Cup a day late, to be honest, so I wasn't sure if if I even got in. That was my first thought, and I didn't hear back for a long time. And then I thought, yeah, okay, maybe I didn't get in. But yeah, let's maybe write the following weekend. But then I got an email that said, "Hey, you're the only guy that registered for the event in Switzerland." To be honest, they didn't really do any marketing. They didn't really write to any Aufguss masters, so that's maybe a bit on them. I also just knew about it because I searched for it, and but then yeah, they wrote me, hey, you're the only one that registered and wanted to do this. We talked about with the committee of Herbal Cup, and let us know if you're interested to go directly to the finals. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure, let's do this. But you have to know, I never did Herbal Cup, so I have absolutely no clue what is needed, and I maybe will be asking some more questions if things that I have in mind are okay, and if that's okay with you guys and okay with the committee, then yeah, I would be very interested to do this and get the experience of this. I think it's a great concept with like again relaying a message, but now without really a story, just message and trying to use fresh herbs and all that, and go back a bit to nature, and really really cool. So yeah, I said yeah, I'm very much down, and now I'm trying to figure things out. I have until the end of November to figure everything out, try out a few times sauna, and go to Prague, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, congrats first of all to go directly to the finals. That's something
Thank you very
nice,
much.
but it's sad to hear because last
Yeah,
year I was at the Herbal Cup in Switzerland in Tamina Terme, and I think there were 8 or 9 competitors. I,
last year it wasn't in Tomino.
no, then
Last year it was in Wallisellen.
then it's still 2 years ago, because at one year I was at the Swiss Herbal Cup. Then it's 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Could be. Thanks for correcting. And it was really nice. I think there were 9 competitors. It was the first time I was in a peeling ritual, because I never saw this before. And it's a lot of effort. Also the presentation, what they did, and it was really cool, but it looks like a lot of effort. And as you said,
yeah,
it's a bit more different to also to understand. And you need what I'm guessing it's you need a lot of theoretical knowledge as well about the plants, about the herbs, about the connection, about the effects for body, for soul,
Yeah.
and everything. But I hope I know you have some good contacts and people that will help you to preparing the Prague one, and maybe we will see us there. And I wish you still good luck, but it's still sad. So maybe next year they will do a bit more, as you said, maybe advertise. I don't know. I was not hearing about it at all, to be honest, about the Swiss Herbal Cup, but yeah, we'll see. So maybe to all listeners who want to compete maybe next year for the Herbal Cup in Switzerland, go for it. And I think you have to go on Facebook, or the most advertising and everything you will found is the Herbal Cup website or the fan page on Facebook. What I know that they do a lot of things there and not using Instagram at all. So I think Facebook is still the platform for Herbal.
Yeah, for me it was I directly went to the website. Um, that's the other way. But yeah, they also told me now the communication afterwards will go over a Facebook group. So I actually had to do I had to create a Facebook account just for Herbercon. So yeah,
Yeah, good to know. So, but now let's go into your single competition first of all. So, tell us a bit more. What did you do in single? What was your story? How maybe did you start? How did you choose the music, the oil? So, let us take part of your thoughts that you have when you developed your single, of course.
yeah. For the single, I did something a bit special, I would say. Like there's a lot of happy stories going around in the Aufguss world, and I decided to do a calm and a bit of a sad story. Um, so the Aufguss was called Charon, and the ones that look over us. Um, and Charon, for the people that don't know of the Greek mythology, is the ferryman of the underworld that brings souls over the river Styx. And um, yeah, it's we all lost people along the way, and it was kind of Aufguss to remember them and to think about all the memories that we have and that they still look over us. And yeah, that was kind of my thinking process of doing this Aufguss. And then I thought long on how to do this because it's really sad story, a really sad topic, and I decided to um, create something that has emotions behind it, and maybe that people also think of the people they lost that somehow are still with them and try to remember them in a good way. So yeah, then I started with the first round and thought, okay, how do you convey this? This this is really hard. Uh, and in the end, I still settled in the first round on a funeral scene, um, but with happy music, like um, the one that died wanted people to be happy and want to remember him in a good way. So I said like in a voiceover, hey, like the guy is that lost his life to due to an illness. He wanted people to be happy and to be remembered in a good way. So he chose a happy song as his last. Uh, so yeah, that was my way of like trying to make a funeral, scene not as sad as it could be. Um, but still, it's really emotional, right? And then I went over and said, okay, let's now with this second round, like the second scene, really incorporate Coron and this ship movements, with these ferry movements, and yeah, I then played Coron. I also in the mythology there's always like a fog below, so I also used some fog, and yeah, and then I had the second round of really going over this river Stings, and at the end I thought, okay, then what happens after? Because in Greek mythology you just like stay in this fire place. So that's not really beautiful. I'm personally also not Christian. I don't believe in heaven, because that's just too good for me to be true. Um, because like this magical place that everything is wonderful, and however everything is bad, it just doesn't resonate with me. For me, it's just like it doesn't always have to be good and evil. It can also be something neutral. And I also want to relay this message of, hey, people are still here in your memories, and maybe they look from above, but maybe just not from a heaven, but from like maybe they are stars, like a bit of a Nordic mythology, where the fallen warriors are like the shooting stars, and then they become stars, and that really resonates with me somehow. And then I also said, yeah, let's this soul after moving over the river Stings. I had a little white light that I then like threw, but like then grabbed, so it was dark. And at the same time, I had a big star built out of wood and an LED strip that I lit up in just that moment. And that was then the message that all the souls will become like stars and still look over us. And I also had some star projectors in the sauna, which was, for me, it was really cool because like I never saw anyone else having star projectors in there, and kind of was cool. But somehow, sadly, the sauna had one light that wasn't I wasn't able to turn off. I don't know why it was there. So
Maybe
like
it was
one
the
side,
safety light.
yeah, maybe
Maybe.
a safety light. I have no clue, but it was just
Okay.
on one side, and the other side was dark enough so you can see the star project. And on that one side, there was just that light, and you barely could see the stars, which was a bit sad.
And it
Um,
sounds cool. It sounds like a
but
really
yeah,
nice effect.
that's
It sounds
yeah,
nice.
and yeah, the message at the end is like, well, even if you lose people, that's they're still with you, and they still look from above, just from the night sky, um, the stars, and somehow are still here.
Cool.
Yeah,
Really deep story, really deep.
yeah,
What did you wear? That's what I'm questioning all the time. Did you change your dress, or what was your
yeah.
costume during the rounds?
So first round, I wore basically funeral attire, so dark suit,
Hmm.
and then I changed. Like I had a vest on, right? So I put the vest away somewhere in the first round, and between rounds it was like those 4 seconds that were dark, that way you changed into the underworld setting. And there I had a rope prepared, a black rope,
Hmm.
because the Fairy always in mythology had black rope on. So I changed into that. I laid it out, prepared, so that I only had to like go in with my arms, put it over my head, and that was it. And at the end of the second round, I put away again, and it was like with my normal attire again for the third round, because I was then basically back into our normal human world, and I was like, oh, the stars above, where now my friend is, and my friend rests, and yeah, that was the costumes.
Nice. Really cool. And which oils did you use to underline this story?
So the first round I had some cedar wood.
Hmm. Which one? Which cedar? You know?
The
Virginia, Himalaya, Atlas.
Atlas cedar.
Okay.
Because I said like the casket was of cedar wood.
Okay. Gotcha.
And in the second round, I really struggled what I would take. And then I thought, okay, let's maybe incorporate something silly to lighten up the mood a bit, because at that point it was very dark out, and I somehow had to do something that was to light up just a teeny amount the mood, and so I had in the voiceover of Karn, I said, "Oh, by the way, I have this freshening tree, like the ones you have in the cars. I have this new freshening tree of lavender." And yeah, I then had lavender suits, lavender infusion prepared before. I think I had in like a whole week. I laid in lavender and then did Aufguss with that. And in the third round, I thought, yeah, okay, stars, maybe peppermint. So I had peppermint in the third round for the stars and this minty, fresh flavor of how I imagine would like a fields in between stars smell. Even though I know that chemically you would probably taste raspberry, but that just doesn't feel right to me for an Aufguss.
Okay. Really cool. Really cool. Sounds like a nice one. That was the first single you were creating, right? So how long did it take for you to create your Aufguss from the beginning of maybe the decision to do it, to have like your Aufguss? I know you're developing during also that you're competing in something, but how would you say how long did it take for you?
So like first I thought of competing with another idea. But then that idea just, yeah, I somehow saw other people do something similar and just didn't feel right. So I scratched that. Then over like 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, I got this idea, because also some things happened that reminded me of people I lost, colleagues I lost from illnesses, from leukemia, and also of a good friend of mine. The death day of her brother came up, that also lost his life of cancer. And then, yeah, they just kind of felt right to do something that to remember the people that we lost along the way.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry for that, but nice that you're sharing this with us. So thanks a lot, Yves. Okay. Very cool. Then let's go to the team Aufguss you developed with Franz.
Yeah.
And then I had the honor to step in and to do it with you at the VM playoffs. So first of all, thanks for that you were asking me. Thanks for this pleasure and all this experience
Thank you very much for joining.
we made together. But first of all, maybe you can tell the guests what Aufguss or team show did you develop with Franz. And by the way, I hope Franz is also listening. So thanks, Franz, also for doing and developing this Aufguss. So for me, I only stepped in and not developed anything. Maybe I did some equipment and stuff, but thanks also to Franz for that. And maybe also to take the chance to say thanks a lot for the Aufguss VM, Martijn, who was supporting us that we can do that. So this was also an honor to get the place and the stage to do and show Aufguss the first time. So, but first of all, you, and please tell the guests, what is the story? Where did it come from, and how was it to develop this one?
Okay, let's maybe first start with the story. So the story is Taylor and his alchemist friend, which is a bit crazy. And for us, it's suited us really well, Franz and me, because he always likes to go a bit crazy sometimes, and I'm more I would say, stuck-up guy that doesn't really leave his shell and is very strict. And he's more like a comedian and likes to be a bit funny and yeah. So we had those two characters that want to help their village because it was plagued by war. I thought, okay, let's how do you do this? How do you incorporate the Tao? And we came up with this cape, with this mystical cape that should protect people. But just like taking Tao as a cape and call it a day is a bit boring. So we came up like, hey, maybe something on the Tao, like an ingredient or something like that makes it impenetrable or like just protects people, I guess. And yeah, we then thought, okay, let's do this story and let's try to stretch it out and do a bit more. And because if we just like need an ingredient and then the alchemist is like, oh, I have something, and then it's done after one round. So we thought, okay, let's maybe call it a mystic ingredient that no one ever saw, and we have to find it. And then we first thought, okay, let's maybe do something that goes over multiple years. So in the first year we just search for it, and in the next year we just brew it, and in the third year we just make the cape or something like that. And then we thought, okay, no, maybe that's kind of lame. That's very, very much just people won't get it anymore. That's so maybe let's condense it down again to a whole story in 1 year. So then, yeah, let's search it for the ingredient in the first round. So we came up with this idea to wave with a map. But like map isn't really good for waving, so so we painted the map on 2 tiles, and then thought, okay, but how do you show people that you now found this ingredient? And so, okay, let's do an opal towel, and when we open it, we have these huge flowers painted on there. So we also did that, and then said, okay, we have this ingredient. If you just brew it, and that's also boring. We want to have some fun. And then Franz is like, yeah, maybe let's go on a trip. And that was like, what do you mean with trip? Like, go on vacation? And he's no, like an LSD trip. And I was like, okay, like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, maybe the plant, the flower that we find has some hallucinogenic effects. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't put that on a cape. And then he's like, yeah, maybe it's just been eaten. And I was like, okay, and how do you do this? And then he's like, yeah, but I'm the crazy guy. I'm the crazy alchemist, right? So I eat it. And then I was like, yeah, but I wouldn't. I'm the stuck-up tailor. I want to do it right, right? So he's like, yeah, but maybe I'm crazy enough to put it in your mouth as well. And then we go both on this trip. So we did that, and so the second round was us sitting on a chair, one person and the other waving, like just doing something without really actually a plan. We never planned the second round. We just planned the handovers, and yeah, and we had this chair to sit on and create the cape. I tailored the cape and prepared a cauldron to do all the stuff and that things. And but there's also a story behind the chair because the chair comes from the course of Aufguss roots with Lukas, where he told us like back before Corona he thought about competing for the last time, and he then only had one deco element, and it was a chair. So we thought, okay, let's maybe also do a chair just to honor where we came from, to honor where the course is. And we also thought about doing the joke with first digging for the chair and then be like, oh, they dig up the folding chair. For all the Germans, maybe you know of the scene of Shoot This Money Too. Sie haben den Klappstuhl ausgegraben. So yeah, that was our first thought, and then we just went with just the folding chair. It was the folding chair at the end. But yeah, we thought they pick up the folding chair, no one would get that part. So we left that one out. Even if I think it would have been hilarious. But yeah, and then we were on this chair, one of us, and the other idea we had that we didn't do at the end was if we qualify for anything like the World Championship directly or playoffs, we thought about eating a banana on the chair in the second round, just because we wouldn't actually carry anymore and just like. Even if it is get disqualified, it would be hella fun. Remember that Aufguss where people just sat there and ate a banana. Also, the origin of the banana trophy in the World Championship. But we also then, cut that part. So yeah, at the end of the second round, to come back to the story, we finally brewed that cape, and then we also thought, okay, let's there's one cape if we brew it. So how the hell do you save a whole village with one cape? That's hella lame. So we thought about let's do something special, and we always love the effect of UV lights on towels. So we said, okay, maybe let's split it. Like if the UV light comes, then it duplicates. And so we did this as a final gimmick. So if the UV light, so the moonlight comes into the picture, it duplicates the towels and you suddenly have two. And so you can do a lot of saving if you can just always put it into the moonlight and then it duplicates. So first you have one, and then afterwards you have four, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's basically the whole storyline of saving it, and then we called it the Legend of the Moonlight Workshop because the Moonlight is the final gimmick.
Yeah, absolutely. Then at the end was the celebration with some
Yeah,
fast and hard music, right?
yeah,
No,
exactly.
thanks a lot for explaining the story. So, and then Franz told you or called you. I don't know. Maybe you can tell us the story. What happened then? So Franz called you and said, "Hey, I have some reasons I could not join you to the playoffs." Sort of how does it happen? Before you called me or asked me.
Yeah. So Franz had some personal reasons. With the weekend was already reserved for
Hmm.
family thing that is occurring every year, and he really wanted to be there for his family at the weekends. So he would have come up only for like the um, Thursday and Friday. And for us, Satama is like 9 hours plus away. So that was always like a factor for him. So does he want this? Doesn't want to do this? So he was already on the edge. And then there was the pressure of he doesn't want to disappoint me. Um, and he wants to create a good Aufguss and wants to incorporate the feedback that we got uh, and do it better than we did in the Swiss Championship. And that pressure basically destroyed him. And in the end, he said, like, hey, this just screws right now with my mental health. It's just not a good idea if I do this. And yeah, he decided to drop out. I said, like, hey, totally understandable. Please watch your mental health. Especially as he also works a lot. He also works in IT as project manager and works a lot. So yeah, I said like yeah, please relax. Maybe use those 2 days to go hiking, clear your mind, just relax and get your mind off things. And yeah, then um, somehow you're the first person that came to my mind to call. Uh, I think we talked about something like doing Aufguss together sometimes back
True.
when we um, went visiting the freestyles at Kocho. And when we talked about it, yeah, it just stuck with me, and I was like, yeah, let's call Matthias and see if he would be down for a competition with no pressure because let's be honest, in 3 weeks, just getting the choreo down and getting the vibe of the music and everything is way hard, and then getting the vibe of each other is even harder. Especially if you have someone like me that is actively trying to mitigate the crisis at the same time in Switzerland and works 60 hours plus. I'm very sorry for that one. But yeah, that was a special time to try to train with you and somehow try to get work done and somehow also find a few hours of sleep a night. So yeah, I'm just glad we could have some fun and that I would say we did an Aufguss together that was good for our first Aufguss together.
It was an Aufguss, I would say. It was not a show, but it was an Aufguss. That's, I would say. Sometimes maybe we have some parts of some scenes. I think the second round, it was quite the best one.
Yeah.
to be honest, also with the acting, but the rest, yeah, from my side was a bit. It was overwhelming, and you said there was no pressure. Oh man, I can say I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm really talented in that. Also because you said to me, Matthias, no pressure, so let's have fun, let's do it. But my brain was not accepting that and put a lot of pressure. But honestly, also the pressure was helping because for me, as a, so there's no excuse because also 3 weeks everything I accepted challenge. And it was a challenge, but it was a really quite nice and amazing experience, I have to say. Also, the process before it gave me like a push. Now you have to do the open towel. Now you have to do 2 towels. Also, if you're maybe not ready, so for sure from the outside, maybe I was not ready to do this level this year, but I go out with that and say we will last from the points, but first from experience. And I think this is something what I can take from this journey also that you were giving me like the choreo and everything. I was, maybe you can talk about openly in the first round with the open towel. I fucked it up, to be honest. So I didn't get it folded right. Then I get nervous. Then I didn't get it folded right again. And then the first round was over and the choreography was done. So you were quite good. You did the choreography, but sadly alone. And yeah, but it was really a good experience to do this because what I really liked was the cabin was closely full. So many people wanted to see us, what these two guys are doing there. Also, if it's maybe not the best, but this support and
Yeah.
this feeling the people gave me was, I think, the most that I can take out of this whole experience. Also, the jury, Martijn was writing us before, and they were wishing us luck and everything. So, from this side, I can only be really thankful to do that. And also the side program we have. I mean, we were in the house with Robert Zidek, with David Sardoci, with the Czech guys, with the UK guys. So we had 4 amazing days. You left sadly on Saturday, but also you have to take care about you. But it was mind blowing for me. As I'm still so happy and glad to have this
Oh yeah.
experience and can only thank you again for asking me. Also that you know he's not on my level right now, but also we did it really good as a team, I have to say. So the support also with the less time you were talking, we had to work a lot, but I think we mitigated quite the best we could do for that. And for that, I'm really happy what we did together. So no towel drop and 2 catches and the 2 droves and the handovers was working. So we have a base
Exactly.
where we can continue.
Exactly. And I think just yeah, like you said, the cabin was nearly full, and I think even if it wasn't like the best version of the Aufguss, people had fun, and people also like afterwards. I went to people and said like, "Hey, like honestly, how was the Aufguss?" And people were like, "Yeah, like technique and choreo." Yeah, okay, it was something, but you had so much fun and people had fun and it was just all around fun in a cabin and honestly for me the best feedback to get on this level because like people had just fun. Like I think everyone in this cabin knew that we weren't going to advance for certain because like 3 weeks ago it was sudden change in composition of the team and yeah no one thought anything would happen but all the people joined us and had some fun and I think that's the best part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And we had also fun. So I could
Yeah.
really enjoy the moment. Sure, I was stressed and everything, but I could enjoy the moment. And especially the second round, it was really cool. What I take out of this was my conditions, as in my physical conditions with my breathing and everything I was done in the third round. I was really done and I was, wow, could not really closely breathe. The weather conditions this day was also not helping.
Yeah.
So the humidity with 90 degrees was also awesome experience. We not even used 3 buckets of water and it was hot as
It
shit.
was
It
so
was,
hot. It was really bad, and I don't know how to reduce the buckets in such a big sauna. Like the sauna theater at Sotoma is really big, and it's really impressive to do a show Aufguss there. I have to say that's basically my favorite part of the experience. Just this legendary sauna, and
But it's
you
a
do it.
nice cabin, or what do you think?
It's
Also,
nice, yeah.
it's so cool.
It's and before I was really scared of doing all the techniques in on the longer side of the
Hmm.
stove. Um, I thought like there's really not a lot of space, and even if there's not a lot of space, it's actually more than sufficient. Like especially for me coming from this very small and little cabin, uh, that has barely enough space to do even parachute. And uh, while being in there and thinking with the empty cabin that we tried like the evening before to see how it goes, I was really scared that I wouldn't have the room to do anything. But it's really not that bad, uh, as other Aufguss masters say, because there's some Aufguss masters that said like, hey, you have to watch because there's not enough space there. And for me, it was really okay. It was a great feeling to wave in there. Uh, the stove is a bit high for me, to be honest. Um, but I think it's even worse for people that are below 180. So yeah.
But I can agree. So when we were training the Wednesday evening in the cabin the first time, I was also so scared to hit people and I didn't get the space. And then during the Aufguss, this was not even a problem anymore. I think I hit one lady slightly in the second round or something. But I was also surprising that if it's fun and if you're doing it, you find your space. I think you have to move a lot and to think about what you want to do to know where the towel is going, that you adapt this for the space to make the space. But also the classics, the parachute, it was really nice to do. Honestly, especially the classics in the side. As so for me, it was the same. Honestly, as I was much more scared in the beginning than it was happening at the end during the Aufguss. That's true. And what I really also happy about that we delivered the peppermint and all the aromas. So what I heard from everyone, the aroma was nice because we had in the third round fresh peppermint, and then we also decided to separate it because we had Tokyo mint, because we had it in the AI script, and then we found out we could not change it, but we changed it to the organizers before, and then we decided to split it. But we delivered the peppermint in the third round, the fresh one, really nice, I would say, as what I heard. So I only can give the feedback from the guest, and also the document was nice. So I think this, I'm curious about the points. I know that I talked to Kim yesterday. He will share the points in detail on Monday. So we will get the results next Monday, or when the
Okay.
podcast is coming out last Monday. So I'm really curious, maybe when we look at the bucket, so we had 6 categories and then we get like the average points by the teams, and then we can see where we have the improvements, where we were below and where we may be were higher. I'm not sure that this is happening, but I think it's a good orientation for us as well afterwards to see what was the less improvement areas and the most ones.
Yeah, for me, I think it's also interesting to compare it to the Swiss chart, like especially from the story side and of side, how we did compare to that.
Yeah, cool. That's true. That's true. You can compare it. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, we'll see. But overall, what are your takeaways? What would you say? What was the what did you take? Maybe 3 ones. What did you take from the experienced players? Because I know you had before the Swiss champion experience, but maybe what was also different? So is it comparable to do a national and then like the international playoffs, or is it different?
For me, it's different because the international part, it's just there's all those international people that you saw at previous World Championship or big Aufguss events, and suddenly you're competing against them, and that was the first time I realized, okay, this is now actually international competing, and those people are good, and I'm like somehow one of them, and that really really is a weird feeling at the beginning. Uh, but we did an Aufguss together the day before we did our show Aufguss, like just normal modern classic, and that really calmed my nerves for me, because I just realized I'm still there to have fun, and it will just be fun. It doesn't matter what happens, just have a great time at the end with people I enjoy being with, and get my mind just in a relaxed state, and yeah, have fun. And for me, the biggest takeaway is it doesn't really matter how big a sauna is, or how big an event is, or how prestigious an event is. It still is the same, that you have to focus on yourself and do what feels best for you. So also, like, I competed in a lot of competitions with judo, with athletics, with badminton, and I think it's the same. You somehow have to get into your routine of doing competition. Doesn't matter what it is for you, but you have to stay true to yourself, and doesn't let the setting take over. Because I nearly let that happen here, and just before the Aufguss, I stood outside of the cabin. So we came on from different sides, so I didn't see you, but I assume you were probably nervous as well. And I was standing there, and I was thinking, oh God, I'm so damn nervous, and what the hell am I doing here? This is like the most prestigious sauna, this theater of Saitama, that everyone wants to do an Aufguss here, and everyone wants to do a show, and I'm just about to do this, and didn't really train, and this could be really a big disaster. And then I just remembered I'm just here to have fun, and then I also got into this competition mode somehow again, where I just calmed my body completely down with breathing techniques, and I have this way of imagining music just before a competition instead of listening, because usually you can't listen anymore to anything because you have to put your phone away before. So over the years, I started imagining to listen to music to calm myself down. And yeah, that's basically also what I did just before. I think that's the most important takeaway, that you have to have your routine, and you have to stay true to yourself, because it doesn't matter what competition it is. It's basically the same.
Yeah, I would agree. That's true. That's true. Cool. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, maybe I can add what drives me crazy at the moment when we are standing in front of the cabin, that the doors were open and closing again all the time. I don't know what's happening, but it was like, is it starting now? Is it not starting? Then there was some guys talking. I didn't hear the moment because we were not able to communicate when the point is
Yeah,
to get in the cabin. And then I was like, is he in? Should I open the door? But then the people will see there's light coming in.
yeah,
And then I was, okay, let's go, let's go. And then I saw you, I said, okay, now we have it. And maybe
yeah.
another takeaway, for,
But
I think,
that was also,
so,
to be honest, that was also really, uh, yeah, really unsettling for me as well, because Alex of Sotoma told me before, he will close the door, count to three, and then start the
ah,
soundtrack.
okay.
And then the doors went open, close, and I was like, is it time? Is it not? Is it time? Is it not? Is it time? Is it not? I didn't. I had to calm myself down again. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean there. So yeah, that was a weird situation.
Yeah, it was. And then also one learning that we have, because some people said it was a bit dark at some spots where we were acting to really, also, I'm not sure if we underestimate the sound, the light script. It was also a bit pressure of time, but I think that's really important that you maybe see the cabin before and that you can test your light script before the Aufguss. Like I think Jerome was doing it on Wednesday evening. So this is really important. Also, I heard it a lot from the guys preparing in Aquadance for the VM, that theoretically everything is fine, but you have to check the light script that the spots are on the right thing and on you. So this is also something, but as well, you need some time to do so. So
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
something I take as well.
Yeah, for me as well. Like the software to create light scripts, it takes a lot of time to create those light scripts, and you really have to get into the software that you know what you do. Um, but also it doesn't really matter how well you do it with the simulation, because there's some songs that just have a better simulation in this application than others, and yeah, it's sometimes you basically get the feeling of what you have in the software application. Sometimes you just have absolutely no clue what the hell you're doing. And that is also for me a takeaway, because the saunas I did before with the light script mostly resembled the simulation mostly resembled the sauna itself, and with Tom it wasn't. With because the simulation made me think it would be way brighter than it actually was. So yeah, that's also a very good takeaway that you mentioned there, and it's certainly also one I will take with me as well.
Yeah, but as I said, it was also a matter of time, so we were not
Yeah.
able to test it live. So it was what it is. But at the end, it was okay. It was not unsafe or something that
Okay.
was important. But and maybe the last thing I was learning was, because at the beginning when the tower was opening and something, how stressed you get and how important the timing is. Also really, also maybe put some backups in, or I don't know, but this was really, I get stressed when I'm showing you, oh, I'm too fast or I'm too slow. So the timing is really, really important. And also the setup of the equipment, really to train, also to get the routine, take the spoon, clean up the spoon, clean up your hands, that it's really so in your mind that you don't think about it, because you don't have the time in this moment to think about, oh, I have to clean my hands. It have to be a routine that your hands are doing that without you give the command with your brain. This is really something what I think helping, and would maybe also take some nervosity, because then you can focus on acting, on the people, and also on the partner. At some point, I was not able to focus on you, to be honest, because I was focusing on myself so much, so that I didn't get the surroundings sometimes. I can remember the moment when you took out the peppermint from the stove. I didn't get this. And then I was walking into and I thought, where's the peppermint? And you still took it. That was like, I didn't get this moment. I didn't saw it. I didn't get that you still done it. And this was like the moment where I think, oh wow, I'm so focused on myself. I'm not completely 100% open in the cabin for the other things that happen surrounding me. But it's still nice. But yeah,
Yeah, but
a lot
it
of
comes
things.
with practice. It comes
Yeah,
with practice.
absolutely. Absolutely. But at the end, I'm really happy what we did, what we delivered.
Yeah.
And maybe it's also a good chance to say thank you to our helpers, René Dutz and Dennis Schweitzer. They were coming far away to help us. So I really appreciate that. That was helping me a lot to calm me down, because honestly, I was so nervous, to be honest. I think you felt it. 3 hours ago it started, and I was a bit another person during this time. So, but it was really cool, and again appreciating that you asking me, and so happy to make this experience. And yeah, and I think we see us again in the VM. Or are you coming to Aquadance Verona? You are, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I
I
hope
am.
no work is coming between. I hope so.
Uh, I mean, we will see. I maybe have to work sometimes,
But
and
not at Aquadance. I kick your laptop out.
no, maybe I will some days come a bit later and work in
That's
the
okay.
mornings. But that's yeah.
That we
I think
accept them.
that's
But at
just part of
Aquadance,
it.
only
No,
fun.
no, no. We're in Aquadance. I think they will also kick me out if I open a laptop there.
For good reasons. For good reasons. Um, so maybe to come closely to an end, I have some questions for you personally. So what do you want to achieve maybe in the next year? So what's your plan in the direction of Aufguss? You want to extend competing, or do you have a plan to, because I know you also go to the herbal, as you said. So what is your focus for the next years, maybe on Aufguss or in Sana?
I'm I'm not really sure. There's two strings in my mind right now. One is focus on competitions and see what competition fits me the best. See where things go. Um, Probably competing again in the show championship next year, and also let's see how Herbal goes if it suits my style, and probably also try the Modern Classic championship that was launched this year, but sadly Switzerland didn't compete this year. So yeah, let's see where this goes. But there's also the other string in my mind that I always like to organize events. So I talked before about being on the board at the student association. I was there for events. I was the responsible person for events, and I later also organized big symposium, and with Franz together we organized the company fair. So we I always liked organizing events, and with this also comes like the feeling of, hey, maybe this event could need some help or with the organization and everything. And the Swiss Championship wasn't the best, and there was some stuff going on in the background that I don't want to get into here. But there's also a chance that we want to try organizing the Swiss Championship next year, which then also would mean that we won't be competing in Switzerland. Um, I am very lucky that I also have a German passport, so I could theoretically also compete only. Um, but yeah, let's see where things go. Maybe we start organizing sauna events and have fun that way.
Yeah, good, I think two good options, or so good luck for both. We'll see. I will follow it. What's happening? Cool. And then the last question, Yves. Think about you have a sauna like a Satama. It's yours, and you can decide. There's a screen. I know in Satama it's not a screen, but imagine there's a screen. You can decide there would be put a message on that every customer, every sauna master, everyone went into the sauna will read your message. Which message would you like to spread out into the world?
That's hard. Um, Stay true to yourself and be kind to the world.
Nice. Nothing to add. Thanks a lot. Yves, it was a pleasure to have you on my podcast. And again, thanks a lot for this nice memory that will connect us forever now.
Yeah,
And we'll
thank
see
you
what
very
we
much
can
for
do
having me.
what we can do in the future. So we will figure this out as well. And yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks so much. I wish you all the best. And happy to see you in Verona again. And yeah, nice to hear you. And I wish you a wonderful, happy day, my friend.
Thank you very much. You as well. See you in Verona.
See.
You've been listening to Steam and Soul, where the heat lingers and the stories stay with you. Until next time, stay steamy, stay soulful.